Here's the $1,000,000 question. How long are you going to continue to allow fear to stop you from accessing your awesomeness? How much longer are you going to allow fear to stop you from living your dreams, to stop you from becoming your best, from being the best man or woman that you can possibly be? There are dreams, there are goals, there are ideas that have been given to you that you aren't birthing right now because you're allowing fear to stop you. And fear is funny. Fear is an interesting thing because just like most things, fear is just a matter of perspective. Fear is just a matter of opinion. Fear is an idea. And what I've learned and what I want to share with you is that fear can often appear as the enemy at the gate, right? The bouncer, right? Blocking the door. Your dreams, your ideas, your goals, all the things you desire on the other side of that door. But there's this big, ugly monster, right? Standing at the door, blocking you from accessing your stuff, right? Hold on to that, your stuff. And what I'm saying is, what if it wasn't? What if you were to change your relationship with that monster? What if you were to change your perspective, change the meaning of what fear is to you, and change it from the thing stopping you from accessing your awesomeness to the very thing that's going to help you to speed up your process and help you to become the person that you want to become? What if that were possible? Just think on that for a second, right? What if that were possible? So let's think about it. I'm gonna give you a couple ways to look at that, right? Number one, when fear shows up, instead of cowering, instead of automatically seeing a stop sign or a red light, what I want you to do is I want you to exhale, and I want you to take that fear, right? And I want you to actually see that as a sign for you to focus. See, you start moving in the direction of your desires, and then the monster shows up. And you see that as a sign to retreat. You see that as a sign to run and tuck your tail or hide, or you start questioning whether or not you're on the right path because the monster showed up. And what I'm challenging you to do is when you turn and face and you start moving in the direction of your dreams and goals and the monster shows up, I want you to get excited because I want you to say, oh, wait a minute, there's something here that requires more of me. It's time for me to focus on the task at hand, because that's why this monster showed up. Because when I'm just goofing off, the monster doesn't care. But when I start moving, you see what I'm saying? So now when the monster, right, when fear shows up, instead of cowering and being afraid, it's time for you to stand up. It's time for you to stand up in yourself and use that as a guide, right? Use that as a tool, use that as a sign. That's the word I was looking for. Use that as a signal for you to get laser focused, right? What if fear didn't show up to stop you, but actually showed up to help you prepare? Think about that. You have these dreams, these goals, these ideas, these things you want to accomplish, and you start moving in that direction, and fear shows up, and then you run and hide. No. The fear actually shows up to help you get focused so that you can prepare. So you can get real serious about your preparation. Prepare, to make ready for use or consideration. That's the definition. That's for another time. So we have to reframe, right, what those signals, right, what that monster means. So when it initially shows up, right, instead of thinking a negative thing, instead of running high, instead of thinking you're not enough, instead of, now you're going to say, oh, wait a minute, this is important. Fear is a sign of importance. I need to focus. I need to lock in. I need to take this task more seriously. What if you did that? That would totally transform your life. Because it's so funny, I always tell people that the actual obstacle is never the thing that stops you. It's your relationship with, it's your perspective of, it's how you see, it's the idea of the obstacle that actually stops you. And that's exactly what I'm describing right now. You see the fear off in the distance, right? You see the monster guarding the door and you're like, nuts, I can't have it. It must not be for me. Because if it was for me, and we tell ourselves something goofy, like if it was for me, then there would be a red carpet rolled out for me. Yeah, right. Imagine that. Every story you've heard has been about overcoming adversity. Every story I don't even need to beat you over the head with that. You already know what that is, right? So get focused, right? And then what I want you to do is, I want you to learn how to bring all of you to the moment. See, a lot of times we're afraid of that monster when it shows up because we're not all there. And I don't mean you're a little off, maybe, who knows? But anyway, what I mean is we often spend a lot of time in the future and in the past. Right? You're telling yourself stories about what that means and why it showed up and what's going to happen and maybe this and maybe this and maybe this and maybe that. So a lot of your stuff is being spent out there. And then there's a lot of reminders of yesterday. And so you're thinking about the times you got it wrong and this and that and that and this. And so you're dividing your time and your energy, right? Thinking about yesterday and tomorrow. Well, when fear shows up, that focus I was talking about is a call to presence, right? My favorite quote, write this down. Above all else, be present. Above all else, be present. Why is that so important? Because when the monster shows up, I need all of me to fight against this monster. I need all my stuff. I need all my weapons. I need all my energy. Listen, I need all my resources. I need all my stuff to fight this monster. And think about it. Why wouldn't I? I think you missed when I said my stuff is on the other side of that door. My dreams, my goals, my ideas, my purpose is on the other side of that door. And I'm not going to allow this ugly monster to stop me. So I'm going to bring all my stuff. I'm going to get focused, and then I'm going to take the necessary action to make this thing happen. Right? Think about it. The fear is stopping you, and the fear is all in your head. The idea of adversity is stopping you. The monster didn't grab you, it didn't drag you, it didn't beat you down. You literally let the idea of the monster, the idea of adversity, stop you from moving forward. So when you see or when you feel that fear and you remind yourself to get focused, and then you use my favorite quote, right? Above all else, be present, and you bring all your stuff to the moment. Now you're locked in, now you're focused on the task at hand, and then you brought all your stuff. And then what you're going to realize is that in those moments, you're going to begin to grow and that monster is going to begin to shrink. And then what you're going to do is you're going to use that fear, right? Use that little monster. You're going to make it open the door for you. Just think about it. See, what's happening in what was happening in the past is you're seeing you're looking at it, and because of the energy or the way you're looking at it, you're making it big and you're making it grow and you shrink. But what I'm offering is a way for you to look at it in a way that helps or causes you to grow and causes it to shrink. And then you take control over the situation. You dictate the terms of what's going to happen next, right? Because now you have all your stuff. So we're no longer going to allow fear to stop us from moving forward. We're actually going to use fear to launch us out, to help us to move forward. So now when those feelings show up, you should get excited, because now again, this isn't your opportunity to focus. Perhaps you were all over the place. Perhaps you were distracted. Perhaps you didn't realize how serious or important this moment was. And then here comes the fear to remind you to pay attention, to remind you to put down the distractions, right? To remind you to put the blinders on and lock in. And remember why you're doing what you're doing. Remember your purpose. Remember who you are. Remember the fact that your stuff is on the other side of that door. So what am I saying? I'm saying there's nothing stopping you from accessing your stuff except for your idea of adversity, your idea of fear. And you can literally, in an instant, right now, you can transform the meaning of fear. You can change the idea, you can change your relationship with fear, and you can use fear to access your stuff.